YouTube, I'm Sneb. Today I'm going to be talking about my experience setting up the DIVER X Contact Glove 2. I want to make it clear this is not a tutorial. This is just about my experience so far using the gloves as a VTuber specifically. It's going to be a bit rambly, not super scripted, but I wanted to share about these gloves as they're a bit newer, less known about right now. And a lot of people are just getting their gloves delivered like January 2025. That's when I'm kind of filming this. Just going to talk about the quality right off the bat. The gloves themselves are really well made. Like, I feel like they're not flimsy. They have like a leather kind of back to them. It's not leather, but it's like a... It's leathery, but it's very smooth. They're very comfortable. I want to say I don't have a frame of reference. I haven't tried Stretch Sense gloves. I've heard good things about them, of course. Lots of VTubers in the scene will use them, but for VTubers like me we're a bit smaller, we're not got all that income to spend on these extremely high fidelity gloves like Stretch Sense. These are a really good price range for the quality. If you've tried Ultra Leap, I would say it's comparable to that kind of quality of tracking. It's a bigger step up than index controllers, because index controllers are only open and closed movements. They do not do finger spread. It's hard to see, but that's just because I'm got little hands, I guess. The tracking is like a huge step up from the index controllers, which was what I was using previously. I'll play a little snippet of me using those. I know your ass is lying. My experience with Ultra Leap is not great because they have all these different softwares and you'll download them and one won't work, or you'll have to download a different one. It doesn't tell you what to download. You need specific lighting. You need to calibrate a lot with the Ultra Leap. I think Ultra Leap's a great option though if you just want like if you just want a little bit of hand movement, a little bit of tracking. There are lots of VTubers that use Ultra Leap like really well. I am not one of those people. I'm gonna get into what it was kind of like buying them. Here's their website. I'll put this in the description. You can kind of pick from like small, medium, large. You know, you can pick how many you want. Keep in mind, you do not need to buy two. Pick only one. That is one pair of gloves. Do not buy two. That is not a good idea if you don't want a bunch of them. So the price, the 517 USD, this is crazy for the quality. And it's not even just about like the quality of the tracking. The ease of use is crazy. And I'm gonna get into that soon. You'll want to read their documents, and I'm telling you, you want to, before you even do anything. It has a piece of paper in there with a QR code on it that takes you to here. Before you even touch the gloves, before you put them on, read this. Read it, because if you tug on the fingers of the gloves, it can cause damage. And if you are excited, you're like, oh, I just want to try them on. You put them on like normal gloves, and then you're like, okay, I gotta take them off, and you yank them off. You might damage them right out the box. And that is not covered by their warranty because, well, why would it be? That's kind of silly if you do that. But I'm just saying, because like I nearly did that and I don't want that to happen to anyone. So pretty much it just works with Steam VR. You can use these with kind of everything. You can use them with Mocopi. They have info on everything. Their software was really easy to use. The software explains kind of everything you need to set up. Like I said, this isn't really a tutorial. This is kind of just like talking about them like in general. They're really great quality for the price, being in between Leap Motion and index controllers. Now, when buying these, you might find that they won't ship to your country. That was the case for me. Like I said, the gloves come in a beautiful little box, so you won't have to worry too much about them getting knocked around a little bit, because they didn't feel like they would break at any little jolt. I live in Australia. They didn't ship here. You can get around this by just using a postal forwarding service. I personally used My US. They were really good, and I got them really quickly after it like arrived at their location in the US. But you know, if you have one you prefer, just use that. When you open the program, this is what you'll see. You'll see the welcome to Contact Glove, and then you want to, you know, you'll follow the prompts. I've set it up already, but the tutorials are very easy to follow, and the calibration's also very simple. It even shows like videos of what you want to do. So I'm just calibrating now. And yeah, then you have your calibration, and it calibrates very well. These are the Magnetra 2. I highly recommend, if you play a lot of VR chat and things, I recommend getting these along with your gloves because they're very accessible. I know this is like a crappy webcam, but please ignore. You connect the Magnetra to the hub thing here. This is basically the part you charge. Then you attach your VR trackers of your choice. This is only if you want VR tracking, but they work best, I would say, with virtual motion capture. I will just note, if you are using virtual motion capture, I would consider trying to replicate these settings down here. This is the offsets. I found this was the best that worked for me. Definitely have a play around with it, depending on like how big your hands are or how long your arms are, but just fiddle with it. But you shouldn't need big offsets on these because the tracker placement, it's on the back of your hand, which is standard for this kind of tracking. It works exactly how you would use index controllers, really. But you can just, if you want to play in VR, you can just switch them around, pull them down, and then you have your controller gloves ready with the triggers. It explains that the grip is the, like, you doing this with your hands. It's very easy to use. It doesn't feel very flimsy. The snapping of the, like, joints in here, they are very, like, they feel very high quality to me. And you can just snap them back up and that should be fine. But yeah, pretty much they just explain to you how that all works. You can calibrate your joysticks in the app, so you can have forward, back, and it just rotates really well. The triggers, and then this is the kind of VR stuff. You just want to install it. You want to open Steam VR first. It's just gonna explain it. But yeah, so that's the calibration. My main use for them right now has been just with virtual motion capture, which is a very popular 3D VTubing tracking program. It's quite the standard. It works through ports. So if you want to forward it into VNAN or VC Face or Warudo, you can do it to all of them because it's just with ports. It's basically universally compatible and it works with Steam VR. With the gloves, if you want to use them with Steam VR, you will need additional trackers. That could be Tundra, the Vive 3.0s is what I'm using. Slime could work. There's lots of different price points, but I find personally that the Vive 3.0s are the most high fidelity and help make the hand tracking look very nice. Kind of whatever you can get your hands on, really. Right now, for this tracking that I have now, I just have a head tracker, a chest tracker, elbow trackers, and the hand trackers with the gloves. So that's kind of how I've achieved this setup. It's not a full body setup, but it's a half body setup. You can sit down comfortably. You don't have to have a base station underneath your desk for this kind of tracking, but I recommend like a 3 base station setup if you want to achieve this kind of look, because that's just what I have. But yeah, so ultimately I think they're very user friendly. I think this is really like a game changer for like smaller VTubers that want some better quality tracking and want to use some VR in their tracking, because for a long time, we've only really had the index controllers for this kind of tracking. We never had that kind of mix of the ultra leap motion and the index. And now we do. Now we have a really good, like, in between. And like I said, it's a lot more affordable than the Stretch Sense, which is kind of the only one that comes to mind. I know there's a lot more out there. The Rococo gloves as well. I've heard like some bad things about the Rococo. There's lots more coverage on the Rococo. They have like more wires, I feel. But yeah, ultimately, I think it's really worth giving a go if you're looking to get something like index controllers, or if you already have index controllers and want to upgrade a little bit to something less clunky so you can play games while in your VR tracking. Sorry, this is just so rambly. It's just kind of my thoughts on everything. I hope this helps anyone looking to get some new VR gloves or like upgrade their hand tracking if you're 3D. Because I mean, from like I've seen like lots of people are getting more into 3D now. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions at all, feel free to ask me in the comments because I'm happy to help. Or, you know, you can join my Discord and I'll gladly answer questions there as well. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that this helps you decide on what you would like to get for your hand tracking solution. Take care, everybody. Thank you so much. Bye.